wiped away the beads of sweat that glistened on his brow. His tired feet were buried in the quagmire, and his bloodshot eyes saw all that lay between him and fulfillment of his vow. And he felt his fingers wrap around the knotted root and pull his body upwards to a sea green mossy boulder, and he dragged his weary shit ass up the mountain, and he climbed so slowly, he climbed so slowly ahead. Heard the crack of thunder, and the rocks began to crumble overhead and tumble down the mountain to the dismal swamp that lay beneath the jagged cliffs through which his path had led. And the earth began to quake beneath his feet, and the mighty mountain changed before his eyes, and he stood amidst a sea of dust and rocks and stones cascading down the mountain, and 1,000 birds were headed for the sky. Whoa, the sacred creed will be yours. Until tomorrow, the sacred creed will be yours to devour, yours to seize and to obey. Dust had cleared, the colonel lifted up his head and was driven to his knees by a blazing beam of light, and he saw the silhouette that stood before him, and he bowed in reverence, trembling in the shadow of the mighty legend's form. Icculus, the prophet, stood before his eyes, looking down on Colonel Forbin, where he shuddered in the puddles and the mud. And he quietly addressed him, and he spoke so slowly, he spoke so slowly, Forbin, I know why you've come here, and I'll help you with your quest to gain knowledge that you lack. I call upon my faithful friend, the Mockingbird, to plant seeds the helping book and bring it to your shack. And the tree of knowledge in your soul will grow, and the helping friendly book will plant the seed. But I warn you that our knowledge, so innocent and pure, becomes a deadly weapon in the hands of avarice and greed. Whoa, the sacred greed will be yours. And if you wait until tomorrow, glass of wine now here. That's right, this is the secret magical glass of wine that we brought on stage here tonight. Looks like an ordinary glass of wine. Smells like an ordinary glass of wine. The incredible thing about this glass of wine is that when you give it to the right person to have a sip of this wine, crazy things start to happen. Mike has drank the magical glass of wine, and it's starting to flow through his blood right now. And what's going to happen is it's going to start in his head and go through his blood and all the way down to his fingertips, and he's going to start playing the mystic, ancient, ritualistic riff on his bass. Now he doesn't even realize this is going to start happening, but without knowing it, his hands are going to start playing the ritualistic, ancient riff. He's doing it. It's starting. I can hear it coming. I can hear it coming. Ah, yes! When he plays the ritualistic riff, he's going to start a magical thing happening into all of you out there. Keep playing the ritualistic riff, Mike. Let's see if it starts to happen. Feel anything funny happening out there? Everybody feel okay out there? What you don't even realize is that as you stand there, your blood is starting to fizzle. That's right, your blood is going to start to turn into carbonation from the magical riff, which came from the magical glass of wine. So right now, as you're standing out there, all of your blood is starting to carbonate and bubble inside of your body, and you probably don't even realize it. But slowly it's starting to bubble, and as it bubbles, you guys are all kind of turning and melding together into this big sea of bubbling ooze, and the bubbling ooze is turning more, it's kind of sugarizing and turning, and as I look out at you, you're all turning into this bubbling sea of soda. That's right, you're all turning into this bubbling sea of soda, and the whole venue is turning into this enormous soda can, and you're trapped inside this soda can now, and you're all bubbling around and carbonated, trapped inside a soda can, and the soda can sitting there, it's out on the outside there on the sidewalk, and right now, without knowing it, there's this little kid who's coming home from school, walking up outside, and as he walks up, he comes up to the soda can, and he sees it, and he picks it up, and so all of us now are trapped inside of a soda can, and this kid is looking at the soda can, and he decides he's gonna take the soda can home, but he's not just gonna carry the soda can home. So he puts the soda can down on the ground, and we're inside of it, and he walks up to it. He decides he's gonna kick the soda can all the way to his house, which is about 1.5 miles from his house. Finally picks up the soda can, gets all the way home, picks up the soda can. It's all shaken up now, the sides are bubbling out of it. We're all trapped inside of it. Decides he's gonna poke a little hole in it and spray the whole thing down his mouth. So he picks up the soda can, shakes it up that last little bit. It's all shaken up now. We're inside of it, vibrating around. Picks it up, sees a little spike on the top of this chain link fence that's outside of his house. Goes up to it. Now we're all spraying out of this tiny hole in the top of the venue here, top of the can, and spraying up in the air. As we spray up in the air, we're so carbonated that we start to turn into little clouds of mist coming up, and we're floating around in clouds of mist now, floating around in the sky and floating up higher, and we start to mingle with the clouds, and now we're part of the clouds, and we're floating around, we're part of the clouds, and the wind is blowing us across the land there. You see everything going across, and we start to go out over the ocean, and kind of the ocean sort of turns from blue into black, and we're drifting along in this cloud, and as we drift along, more and more clouds start to come up, and they start to connect with our cloud. until we're one huge cloud, and you start to feel a little bit heavier and heavier. The whole feeling inside of you starts to get a little meaner, and you start to feel a little electricity kind of building up inside of you. And you don't really know what's happening, but you're still floating up in this cloud, and suddenly the electricity starts to sort of bubble and boil and get to a different point. Thunder and lightning start to crack around you. Start to congeal with other people around you and slowly turning into raindrops until you find yourself falling in a raindrop, falling down towards the ground. As you're falling down, you look down and you realize that you're falling somewhere that you'd never been before. You're falling into a new place. You're falling into game head. As you fall, you start to recite the ancient ritualistic words to bring yourself into Gamehenge. Rich in verse, came well in Martinland, well born from Vermin fifth, well we kill a pedestal, forever a well we curl. Be ever so voraciously alternate. We call upon your bolt! Can we stand? Can we stall? We can stage a runaway golf cart marathon! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up on your heels and call! Rising out of the forest in the distance, from the hills that rise out of the vast green forest that stretches across the field, from the hills that rise across from the green field that goes off as far as the eye can see, from the huge hill where Colonel Forbin is climbing over there. He's climbing up the mountain to find the great and knowledgeable Icculus. He's climbing to find the great and knowledgeable Icculus, because Icculus is going to help him get the Helping Friendly book. That's right. Because Icculus lives on top of the mountain. He is the great and knowledgeable man. And that's why Colonel Forbin on the stage is climbing up to find him, because he wants to find that great book. That great book that has helped him lead his life and all the people of Gamehenge. That great and wonderful book with all of the knowledge that you and I might need to peace and harmony with nature. Because sometimes, sometimes it's hard. You get stuck in places and you look around and you say, what should I do? What can I do to help? The world is becoming this way, and if I only had someone to guide me. Help me out, help me out. If I only had someone to guide me and help tell me how I should run my life. My life. Not my life. Not your life. In fact, not life at all. But if I could just find that person, that thing. Well, let me just tell you people something. Let me just tell you something right now. I know something, because I found that book. I found the book to help me find the way to run my life. And you can find the book. You can read it. You can read the book. You guys know how to read. You can read the book too that would help you lead your life the right way. And you wouldn't be stuck making these awful decisions every day. Stuck. You don't know what to say. I mean, what are you going to do with your life? Let's go. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, but I got this book. So why don't you just go out, find the book and read it. I'm telling you to read it. Don't just stand there. Get the hell out of here. Read the book. Find the book. Read the book. Find the book. This book is a great book. It's written by. It's written by. It's written by the great and knowledgeable Icculus. Yeah, my children are old enough to read Icculus. A cold and lonely night, running the pace of her fright. Look at her face tonight. So there he goes, up the mountain. Colonel Forbin, right there. And he's trying to find the great and knowledgeable Icculus. So he goes up to the top of the mountain, and Icculus says, I will now send the famous Mockingbird to fly down out of the sky, steal the book from the castle, bring it back to the people of Gamehenge, and all of you people out there will have the great book that will help you make these tough decisions in your life. So here he comes to help you make tough decisions. The famous Mockingbird. mockingbird. Famous mockingbird. Famous mockingbird.